Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads. Today I'm going to be making some beef tips that's going to have this wonderful gravy with it, and I'm going to be cooking it in my crock pot. It is so simple. It takes two ingredients. It takes meat and it takes beef consomme. So I'll show you how to do that, and I'm going to serve it over rice. And I have some tips that I'm going to share with you about the rice. So a lot of people say that they have problems with it sticking together and they can't cook rice unless it's gummy. Well, I'm going to tell you what I do to keep my rice from sticking together. So let's get busy and let's get started and get our tips on, because it's going to take several hours for them to cook. And I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, let's get started with our beef tips, because dinner will be here before we know it, and it takes a while for this to cook. So I'm going to slip on some gloves because I'm going to be handling this meat. But I wanted to show you, first of all, I have this cute little small crock pot, and I know everybody's going to ask me where I got it and what brand it is. It's just perfect for two people. So this is it, and it lifts out. It works just like a regular crock pot. But it is a Continental Platinum, and I think that I purchased it at Walmart. I've had it for several years, but I love it. When you make hot dips or things of that nature, you can just put it in here and keep it warm. It serves many purposes. So today I'm using round chunks. These are beef round chunks. And I'm just going to open this up. This is 1 1/4 pounds. You can see that it cost $11.77. And Doug and I can make 2 meals off of this. So when you figure it that way, it's not too much. So I'm just opening our beef chunks, and I'm just going to place them in the crock pot, just like this. See, that's about half full. That's not much. That would actually hold more meat. So let me take it out so that you can see it. So there we go. So we have that. Now, I'm just adding 1 can of beef consomme. This is a 10.5 ounce can of beef consomme. Now, this will make a kind of a thin gravy. If you want it thick, you could always add some cornstarch. Just mix up some cornstarch. Make sure you get all the lumps out of it. And add it to it once it gets done. But I probably won't do that to mine. So now I'm just going to place the lid on it, turn it on low, and y'all, it is cooking. So that is wonderful. What an easy meal. What an easy meal. I'm going to cook some fresh peas that I have in my freezer to go with our beef tips and rice. And so we'll have beef tips, rice, and fresh peas. I may slice a tomato. But let me talk to you about rice. This is Uncle Ben long grain rice. I've used this as long as I've been married, and that's been 58 years. But I do like it. I like it a lot. My mother used it, and I like it too. So anyway, that's the brand that I use. But what I wanted to share with you about cooking rice is that I just take, say I want to cook a cup of rice. I'll just measure out a cup of rice, and I'll place it in a small saucepan, a boiler. And then I add my water. Now, I don't measure because I've been cooking for 58 years plus. But if you want to go by the directions on the back of the package, you can do that and determine how much rice you need to cook and how much water to add. But I will tell you this, you need to add extra water because your rice will not be done, and it will be it'll be dry if you don't add extra water when you cook your rice. Also, I wanted to tell you that if you want to keep it from sticking, you can add 2 tablespoons of butter, depending on the amount. If I was cooking a cup of rice, I would add 2 tablespoons of butter, or you can add 2 tablespoons of oil. I prefer olive oil in my rice, And so I'll add olive oil. So I place my rice in the boiler, and then I add my water and my butter or olive oil, whichever I'm using. Put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then I turn it down and I cover it, and I cook it for 20 minutes. And my rice does not stick together. So anyway, that's just a little tutorial or a little lesson on how to cook rice to keep it from sticking. So I will be back once our beef tips get done, once I get my rice done, my peas done, and I'll show you what we're going to have for dinner. Okay, our beef tips or beef chunks are done. Look at that. And they cooked out a lot of juice. So I did mix up 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with the liquid that cooked out of the meat, and mixed that up really well, and I added that and it thickened the gravy, but that's just going to be so good. And we have some fresh peas here. We'll put some pepper sauce on that and some good fresh sliced tomatoes. It just doesn't get any better than this. Okay, friends, that's it. That's how quickly you can come up with a meal when you cook it in the crock pot, and you can go about your day's work or activities or errands or school or church or whatever you need to do. And then you can have your meat cooked when you get home. So we're going to sit down and enjoy our dinner together. I hope you've had a blessed day, and I will see you again really, really soon.